All right, everyone. It's time for Conquest. At least it was Conquest over the last weekend. It's kind of like how you guys saw there. We're up against 305 and 297. So I decided to just take a video and kind of give you guys some gameplay on how everything plays out. So getting right into it, I start off by going over to the 305. The purpose of this, it depends on what you want to go in for. Some people go in to loot. Other people are in it, to get the kills. That's technically I fall under that category. So this is just gonna kind of show you what I do. I ended up with like a billion points on this. So as you're gonna see here, I do speed up my attacks because I'm in it for the points. So I want to definitely make sure I get the kill. So I don't want to send an attack and then turn out, that they jump or they shield, like you kind of see on here. This guy, it seemed like he was AFK, and then it turned out that he wasn't, and then he ended up shielding. But it does use up diamond, and of course, that's why there's an event for diamond consumption during Conquest, because it's inevitable. If you're going to be jumping around, you're going to be consuming diamonds, and same thing if you're going to be speeding up attacks. Those diamonds are definitely valuable. I mean, you can end up using that for something else, but if you have some extra, it's a great way to go in and have fun, and I definitely have a lot of fun, during this event. So as you see here, I'm just going in, and luckily I don't have to worry about too much as far as like I don't. That's it's a wrong thing to say. It's not that I'm not worried about the competition. It's just that right now no one has showed up. Like if a 33 pops up, I'm going to be very cautious with what I throw at them. But if it's a lower level, I'm pretty confident that my troops are going to, essentially do what they're supposed to. Now, great thing to kind of keep in mind here when you jump over to a different state. While you have War Zeal, you will not be able to go to a different state or even direct relocate back to your own state. You'll have to go back into the stump event, click on returning, and your marches have to be back, so they can't, nothing can be marching, and then it'll allow you to randomly relocate back to your home state. Once you're back there, though, you won't be able to jump until War Zeal is completely worn off. So as you see here, I am looking around to see if there's anyone else I can hit before I go back home. There was one here, so I decided to get one last attack in before I head back home. And the reason why I post the locations is because after I wipe out their armies, it's essentially letting my allies know that, hey, you can hit this, their armies are gone. That way, if they have any loot, now they can start hitting them, uncontested, and not have to worry about losing any troops. Here, I'm going back home. I typically will position my nest far away so they can't be seen by the person I'm going to attack, because you can imagine you see a 35 pop up right next to you, and they're typically going to, automatically prematurely go in and then try to relocate. Here, I believe I'm back in. Let me see what state I'm in. It seems like I'm still here. I ended up cropping this video, so I try to cut out as much of the fat as possible. Looks like here I was gonna attack, but I saw this guy attacking, and I was just like, what, he's probably gonna jump. And sure enough, I was right. So we left that alone. Continued to the next portion. Let's see what's going on. All right, so here, as you saw, there was a decent sized guy. So I definitely was cautious with what I was going to throw out, because I want my troops to last. Although you are going to get all your troops backs, all your troops are going to be revived after this event. Luckily I have a little over 1 million T11s, but still, I definitely don't want to go in and have to and heal those if I don't have to. So I'm just super cautious with what I'm throwing when it's a bigger nest. Let's see, we speed it up, took this guy out. I ended up going closer to him just because it seemed like he still had more troops. If possible, I mean, typically what I'll do, I was recording here, so it was more for the videos, but typically I'll wait for their troops to return before I attack them. That way I can, take out as much of their troops as possible. Of course, it's not always going to, be able to play out. A lot of these guys will send out a couple attacks, and once they all land, then they jump. So before you lose them, I just wanted to make sure I got these attacks in for the video. But another thing that I typically will look out for is someone who has just jumped, like this guy here. So when I attacked him before, most of his marches were out. So I'm guessing most of his troops were out. So now that he jumped over to this location, guess what? All of his troops are back in his nest. So this is the time to hit, because you'll be able to completely get as many kills as possible. So sure enough, go in, hit him, and I essentially wipe out his troops. I mean, obviously that's what ends up being. It's always good to interact in the battle chat. Luckily, these two states, they're really cool guys on here, cool guys and girls, a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, we kind of went back and forth. There's a lot of talking back and forth, but it was all in good, all in good faith, and we were just pretty much all having fun. Everybody took their hits very, very graciously, and made some new friends out there by the end of this. So let's see here. I believe at this point you're going to see me go in and kind of check war zeal, because I definitely want to be able to jump to the next state, but I have to be careful with who I attack, because if I attack somebody, then guess what? You have to wait for war zeal to start all over again. So if there's a nest that's tempting enough, I'll definitely hit them. But if not, I'm gonna kind of just sit back and wait. So this guy, is kind of tempting, but he's in a different state, so I can't even jump regardless. Always kind of looking. Here we have this guy had a lot of troops that I could kill, so he was definitely on my hit list. But I had to wait for war zeal to be able to wear off, so that way I can jump over there and initiate that attack. So in the meantime, my guys will typically give me locations. I'll typically go into like the state chat as well, and they'll usually give me like people that are essentially invading them. Here I was able to find Powwow, I think Powwow or Pow. This guy was jumping around a lot, so when I finally found him, it was great. It was time to go in, because definitely had a lot of soldiers to kill. You're gonna notice that he ends up jumping, and I was gonna mention this before. This is a really good tip as well. When in Conquest, before you attack, in order for you to figure out if they're worth attacking or not, most people will send out a scout that ends up spooking the person, and then they'll probably throw up a shield or something like that. What you'll notice that I do a lot in this video is I'll go to their profile, click on the CP level, and it'll tell you their total CP. So let's say you click on it, and after you click on it, let's say it says 300,000 as a total CP, but then you hit the little scroll right next to it, and then it says record high is 150 million CP. Then at that point, that they have a lot of troops essentially. So that huge gap between those two numbers is going to be the amount of troops that they've developed. So it's a great way to figure out who has troops and who doesn't. So for this one, when I attack again, I had a feeling that they were essentially healing. It may seem a little grimy, but at the end of the day, there's only going to be a handful of the strong guys. So if you want to get your maximum points, it's essentially what you have to do. So here, again, I'm watching, seeing what's going on back at home. There's a big guy invading us right now. So of course I'm going to come in. Again, I'm not going to go right next to him. I'm just going to get close enough where I can ensure that my essentially attack will hit. I'm sure this guy saw it. I go in. His troops aren't really back just yet, but let's see. Yep, I got it there. Looks like one of his troops were out. I sent another one in, and I really should have just reinforced the guy that he was attacking, and then hit him. But you know, at this point, it is what it is. All right, so let's see where we're at here. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty good point here. It's probably the biggest hit I've been able to get so far. I mean, no, actually, I did hit Papa a few conquests back, but man, that guy was so beefed up, even with my troops. Like attack versus attack, I can hold my own, but hitting his nest, he had so many T11s that it was crazy. I essentially did very minimal damage by hitting his nest, but this one here, I definitely took out a good amount of this guy's troops. It took a few hits to do it, but definitely worth it. You can see I'm switching my stats over to combat, and definitely gonna put on plus defense, and then I'm gonna hit him. You can see I didn't speed up because I'm close enough, and he hasn't been making any moves, so I had a feeling that he was probably going to be AFK, which worked out for me. I took out all his troops and essentially left him there. I'm pretty sure he ended up getting hit multiple times afterwards because then his nest disappeared. So, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, you forget to shield, and this will happen. Typically, you have to be careful with that because sometimes people will rally on you. I haven't had to rally on anybody just yet, but if it's a pretty strong enemy, actually I should have done that on Papa now that I think back on it, but it is what it is. Again, this is all fun and games, and Papa, yeah, what did he call it? He called it after I hit him, he said it felt like a bee sting, maybe. I forget what he said exactly, but he's a great guy. He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah. So I mean, from this point, I'll let this video play out. I think I gave most of, the tips that I wanted to give out. So after this point, it's just enjoying the gameplay. This attack actually, what was his name, Sir Anton. Me and him went back and forth a good amount of time. I wish I got all of it on video, but in this scenario, he got away from me this time, but I ended up getting him later on. But that is a perfect example of why you speed rush, because man, they'll definitely get away from you sometimes. But I ended up getting him later on. I think this might be it. Yeah. So, Sir Anton, if you end up watching this, it was a good back and forth, man. Actually, more just one way, but still, it made for great, fun gameplay. So this is a perfect example. See, he had just jumped over. If I would have sent an attack again, I would have been able to hit all his troops. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, hit a like, subscribe, and I'll try to get more videos out. Take care.